Those struggling with addiction and their loved ones know what a challenge it can be to get on that road to recovery. And that's why education in prevention is so key. So here in studio with us with advice that could help is Peter Latondra, CEO and Director of Clinical Services of Rhode Island. Good morning, Peter.
Hey, good morning. Nice to see you.
Welcome back to the show. Lots to talk about here. Certainly when we've had you here in the past, we've talked about addiction treatment, overdose prevention within the community and all those things. But I would think that within this conversation, there's a piece that is missing, and that's kind of what you're here to talk about.
Prevention education is a very important piece, really.
Where does it really begin? Because I think those of us out there, in any walk of life, it doesn't matter what we're doing, all the way down to when we're early, learning how to walk. You know, you got to have the education. When we're in school, learning how to drive, and then, God forbid, if someone develops an addiction, certainly you want to get ahead of that. So where really for you guys?
Prevention education is a systematic approach to teaching people about the consequences of substance use, and both psychological and physiological as well. It's, children on up to adults, so everybody really needs to learn about this as they grow.
Certainly children are very impressionable, and it is good to start young, but I would surmise maybe that as individuals get older, do you find it's harder for them to absorb or even be willing to learn about this?
Well, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of different ways to reach people. Around the state, we have coalitions in each community, prevention coalitions, and they do a lot of activities in the community. So there's a lot of different ways to reach people without saying, hey, don't use substances. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think certainly for many out there, they think, okay, I've heard enough. Enough is enough. I know what to do. But it goes so far beyond just the general sort of statement of don't do this.
Right. People need to know why, and they need to know what can happen and what will happen if they do continue to use substances.
And that really has to be one of the ongoing challenges for you guys at CSRI. I'd imagine, the work really is never done because we need to get ahead of this stuff.
Right. We do, and we provide a lot of free educational support groups for families, so parents, loved ones, anybody can come in and ask questions, how to access resources, how to educate their children, and how to keep everybody healthy.
And for people watching right now out there that might have some experience with this, I'm sure invariably there's some trepidation, there's some nervousness, but they really don't have to feel that. They don't. It doesn't need to overwhelm them, does it?
Right. All they need to do is pick up the phone and call, and there are people there to help.
That's what it's all about. Well, Peter, thank you so much for joining us as always. It's very important information is what it is.